You're heading to the mailbox, just a few steps from your door. It's a simple task, something you've done 1,000 times. But today, your legs feel a little shaky, and you catch yourself reaching for the railing, or maybe just pausing to steady yourself. It's not a big deal, right? Yet, deep down, it nags at you. That little wobble, that moment of doubt, it's frustrating. Maybe you've noticed it elsewhere too. Standing up from your favorite chair takes an extra push, or walking across the room feels less certain than it used to. These things creep up as we age, and they can chip away at the confidence we've always had in our bodies. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to stay that way. There's a way to keep your legs strong, steady, and reliable, even as the years roll by, and it's simpler than you might imagine. I want to tell you about someone who's figured this out, someone who's living proof that age doesn't have to mean weakness. She's right next door to me, and her story might just surprise you. Her name is Mrs. Thompson, and she's 94 years young. I've known her for over 2 decades, and she's the kind of neighbor who makes you smile just by being herself. Every morning, without fail, she's out in her garden, tending to her roses with a little trowel in hand. She walks to the corner store for her newspaper, her steps quick and sure. At our community potlucks, she's the one swaying to the music with her great-grandkids, laughing as they twirl around her. Her legs? They're rock solid. She moves with an ease that makes you forget she's been on this earth for nearly a century. It's not just her energy that stands out, it's her confidence, that quiet strength that shines through every step she takes. One sunny afternoon, I couldn't hold back my curiosity any longer. I was helping her carry a bag of groceries up her porch steps, and there she was, climbing them like it was nothing while I huffed behind her. "Mrs. Thompson," I said, catching my breath, "how do you keep your legs so strong at 94? She turned to me with a twinkle in her eye and a sly smile. "Oh, it's not what you think," she replied, setting the bag down. "It's nothing fancy, just a little habit I've kept up." That's when I knew I had to hear more. Now, when someone tells you they've got a secret to staying strong, your mind might jump to the usual suspects. Maybe you're picturing hours at the gym, lifting weights, or following one of those strict diets you see advertised everywhere. Or perhaps it's some pricey supplement promising miracles in a bottle. But Mrs. Thompson waved all that off with a chuckle. "No, no," she said, shaking her head. "I haven't run a mile since the 70s, and I'm not about to start now. It's simpler than that, something I do every day without even thinking about it." Her words stuck with me. Here was a woman who'd outlived most of her peers, still moving like she owned the world, and she was telling me it wasn't about anything complicated or intense. It was about a small, everyday choice, something so easy that anyone could try it, no matter how mobile they are or how busy their days get. She had me hooked, and I bet you're wondering too. What's this secret she's keeping? Here's what Mrs. Thompson shared with me that day. She calls it movement snacking. It's not a formal workout or a big production. Think of it like nibbling on a snack throughout the day to keep your energy up, except instead of food, it's little bursts of movement to keep your muscles awake. Every hour or so, she does something quick and simple, less than a minute, nothing that leaves her winded or sore. These tiny snacks add up over the day, building strength in her legs and keeping her steady on her feet. It's not about pushing yourself to the limit. It's about consistency, weaving movement into the fabric of her routine like it's second nature. She leaned in as she explained it, her voice warm and matter-of-fact. "When I'm waiting for my tea to steep, I lift my heels a few times. While I'm brushing my teeth, I stand on one leg for a bit. It's not much, but it keeps me going." I couldn't believe how straightforward it was. No equipment, no special schedule, just little moments of action sprinkled through her day. And the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. It's not the big, dramatic efforts that keep us strong as we age. It's the small, steady ones. Want to give it a go? Here are some of Mrs. Thompson's favorite movement snacks. They're gentle, safe, and easy to tweak depending on what you're comfortable with. You don't need to do them all, just pick one or two that feel right and slip them into your day. Sit in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor, stand up slowly, letting your legs do the work, then sit back down just as gently. Do this 5 times. If you need a little help, hold on to the armrests or a table nearby. It's perfect for when you're waiting for the microwave or chatting with a friend. While you're sitting, maybe reading the paper or watching the news, lift your toes up and down 10 times, keeping your heels planted. It's a small move, but it wakes up your lower legs and gets the blood flowing. Feeling steady? Try lifting both feet together for an extra nudge. Lying on your bed or couch, lift one leg straight up, hold it for 5 seconds, then lower it slowly. Repeat 5 times per leg. If lying down isn't your thing, sit in a chair and extend one leg out in front of you instead. It's a quiet way to build strength while you unwind. Stand facing a wall, hands at shoulder height. Lean in by bending your elbows, then push back to start. Do 5 of these. It's not just for your arms. Your legs get a workout too as they hold you steady. Great for when you're near the kitchen counter or hallway. While brushing your teeth, stand on one leg for 10 seconds, then switch. Hold the sink if you need to. It's all about feeling secure. This little trick sharpens your balance, one brush stroke at a time. These aren't meant to tire you out. They're quick boosts, little gifts you give your legs throughout the day. Mrs. Thompson does one every hour or so, and she swears it's what keeps her moving so well. I'll never forget watching Mrs. Thompson in her garden one morning. She was crouched down, pulling weeds with ease, her knees bending and straightening like they were 50 years younger. I asked if she ever feels stiff. "Oh, sure," she said with a laugh, brushing dirt off her hands. "But I don't let it stop me. I move a little and it goes away." That's her secret weapon, not just the actions, but the attitude. She sees every step, every bend, as a chance to stay strong. Then there was the holiday party last December. The living room was full of chatter and music, and there she was, dancing with her great-grandkids. They were giggling, tugging at her hands, and she kept up with them, her feet tapping the floor like it was nothing. Later, I asked if she ever worries about tripping. "I used to," she admitted, "but not anymore. I trust my legs. They've earned it." That trust comes from years of those small, faithful movements. You might wonder how something so simple can make a difference. Turns out, there's solid science behind it. Studies show that short bursts of activity, like these movement snacks, can boost muscle strength and balance, especially as we get older. Researchers have found that older adults who stay lightly active throughout the day have better mobility and fewer falls than those who sit still. Another study pointed out that consistent, gentle movement does more for keeping muscles healthy than occasional big workouts, especially for seniors. It's not about intensity, it's about showing up, little by little, day after day. If those first ideas sparked something, here are a few more to play with. While cooking, stand at the stove and lift your heels up and down 10 times. It's a calf raise that sneaks into your soup-stirring time. On the phone, talking to a friend, march in place or lift your legs out to the side a few times. Watching TV. During a commercial break, stand up and sit down 5 times, or straighten one leg out and hold it for a few seconds. Reading, set a timer for every 30 minutes. When it buzzes, stand up, stretch, and sit back down. Gardening. Squat down to plant or pull weeds, then stand up again. It's what Mrs. Thompson does naturally. The point? Make it part of your day, not a chore you dread. Find moments that fit you and let them add up. Maybe you're thinking, that's great for her, but I'm not there yet. Or, my knees ache, can I even do this? Here's the beauty of it. You can adjust it to where you are. If standing's tough, stick to seated moves like toe taps or leg lifts. If joints complain, start small, maybe just a couple reps, and build up as you feel ready. Listen to your body, and if you're unsure, check with your doctor. This isn't about pushing past your limits. It's about working with what you've got. These little snacks don't just help your legs, they get your blood moving, lift your energy, and even brighten your mood. Some research even says light activity like this can sharpen your memory and focus. So, while you're strengthening your stride, you're giving your whole self a lift, body and mind. Mrs. Thompson's story has me convinced, and I hope it's got you curious too. Why not give movement snacking a whirl? Pick one or two of these ideas, maybe chair squats while the coffee brews or toe taps during the evening news. Try them a few times a day and see how it feels. You might find your legs thanking you in a week or two. And if her approach clicks for you, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. I'd love to share more ways to keep active and thriving as we age. Let's keep moving, together. I couldn't resist trying it myself. I'm nowhere near 94, but I figured, why not? I started with chair squats while my coffee perked and leg lifts during TV time. A few weeks in, my legs felt firmer, and I had more pep in my step. It's not magic, it's just steady, small effort paying off. If it's working for me, it can work for you. One last gem from Mrs. Thompson before I go. She told me, age is just a number. It's how you feel and what you do every day that counts. She's spot on. We can't turn back time, but we can choose to stay strong, one small move at a time. So, take a cue from her. Start snacking on movement today. Your legs will thank you.